Hey, welcome to episode 103 of Fresh Air at 5. All right, in this episode, I start out at home, outside in the driveway, and I end up in the mountains in the snow, playing in the snow. Listen to a couple podcast episodes, a few in between, and it was fantastic to be able to get outside and go for a walk. All right, that's all for now. Without further ado, episode 103, Fresh Air at 5.
Hi, I'm Steve Miletto from the Teaching, Learning, Leading K-12 podcast, a part of the Education Podcast Network, just like the show you're listening to now. Shows on the network are individually owned, and opinions expressed may not reflect others. Find other interesting education podcasts at edupodcastnetwork.com.
Welcome to Fresh Air at 5, the podcast. I'm your host, Brian Carpenter. Fresh Air at 5 is my regular attempt to exercise by walking about my neighborhood to take in podcast content, then reflect in an unedited video, which I finally post to my Twitter channel. This podcast will be a regular collection of the audio from these selfie videos. You can follow me on Twitter at Fresh Air at 5 or check out my website, briancarpenter.com, for other content I have created and collected.
All right. Hey, morning, PLN, on December 24th, 2022. Merry Christmas Eve to you all. We have weather going on here, and now it's above 0 degrees Celsius. If you look up here, we got rain falling. It's pouring off the roof. If you look down here, we got plate ice on the ground from freezing rain. Take a look at the vehicle. Take a look at this here. This is all ice on here. We had freezing rain yesterday and yesterday evening, and everything is just covered in freezing rain. So I'm out here trying to make a path for the water to run down. I'm getting some fresh air. Not listening to podcasts because I got to really pay attention here. Otherwise, it's gonna not be good. But yeah, we're doing well. We're supposed to be getting, 25 to, how much? Millimeters of rain today. Centimeters? Millimeters. Millimeters of rain. Almost about 5 or 6 inches of rain today on top of all of this. So hopefully, yes, it thaws out. We've canceled Christmas Eve dinner. But carpenters are doing good. Fresh Air at 5 is enjoying it, kind of. And hey, take a listen to my podcast. And it's snowing, but now it's raining. So, all right. Merry Christmas to you guys. Hope you're all doing well. Stay safe and warm where you are. Hey, I got my micro spikes on, so I'm not wiping out here. But I can walk on the ice. All right. Peace. Talk to you guys. Bye. Hey, PLN, it's December 28, 2022, Fresh Air at 5, coming to you from the no longer snowy roadways in my neighborhood here in Abbotsford, BC. And the last segment that you just heard, if you're listening to the podcast, the whole podcast for this week, was that it was snowy and icy, and I was out scraping sheet ice off my driveway because we had freezing rain and cold temperatures that were warming up. Well, we transitioned from the colder weather to the warmer weather now, and all the snow has melted. We have had Christmas Day. We had Christmas Eve that was pretty light. We were going to have a big party at our house, but people couldn't get there. Christmas Day, got together with friends for breakfast at their house. They came over to our house with family on Christmas evening for deep fried turkey and lamb and all the fixings, and it was fantastic to sit and just be together. Oh my goodness. Yes, the past couple Christmases have been disrupted due to COVID and weather, but it was just so good to get together. And then this week, well, man, I've been lazy. Well, I don't know. You know what? My wife's like, it's okay to be tired. It's okay to just take a rest. It's okay to stop, Carpenter. That's what my wife said. So I have. And today I got out the door a bit later this morning, and I have really enjoyed being out. So this morning, as I'm listening to podcasts, I listened to Dr. Chris Jones on Seeing to Lead as he played an interview that happened back, I think, in the summertime on the Leadership Podcast with Joelle. And I don't know Joel's last name. I missed that part as I was listening. And so anyhow, take a listen to Seeing to Lead that was dropped on December 26th by Dr. Chris Jones. And they talk about the importance of, admin-teacher relationships. We talk about teacher-student relationships. Well, it's equally as important and making a difference in teachers' lives in your building as a leader. So, yes, a whole lot going on with leadership. Where did I start off with my leadership? A long time ago, and I'm still doing leadership today, but as a teacher. Peace out. Happy day. Bye-bye. One more thing for December 28, 2022. As I'm continuing my thoughts, I stopped recording there and I'm thinking about leadership and about the imperative of building relationships as leaders with those that are following us. There's positional leaders that, given their position, people need to follow. The President of the United States, the whole government needs to follow because he is in a positional place like that. We don't like those kind of leaders when they are not great people-person leaders. We need to be leaders that people want to follow. How are we as teachers having our students follow us through the curriculum in our classroom? How are our students, being made better because they spend time with us? That only happens through relationships. And, a whole lot of curriculum learning doesn't make you a good person. It just makes you a whole lot of learn about curriculum. I heard it said when I was listening to Seeing to Lead podcast, the episode where Chris Jones was interviewed by Joel on his podcast, the Leadership Podcast. They were talking about, we can get through curriculum, we can get through school, we can get good marks, but what universities are seeing and some colleges are seeing is that students don't have the executive function to be able to make it there. They don't have the ability to understand how to work with other people and things like that. And I think it's important that outside of the curriculum of, teaching the content, that we grow our students to be good people and to be able to handle themselves for the future world. Not future ready for universities, but what is the future in the world that they're going to face. University might be a stopping point for many, but it might also not be a stopping point for many. And how can we make sure that we've done our job as teachers to make sure that our students are ready for that space? I look at kindergarten, getting them ready for the rest of school. When does it stop? When do we stop taking care of our students in that manner that we grow them as people? All right. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Joel, for the conversation. Appreciate it. And all have a happy day. Okay. Bye-bye. Hey, PLN, December 29, 2022. Happy Thursday to you. Trust you're doing well. I slept in this morning and decided to walk after the light came up because I like walking a little bit better right now on my vacation when the light is up. So as I'm out walking this morning, I listened to episode 100 of the Define You podcast with Lindsay Titus. And Lindsay, I want to say big congratulations, big shout out to you. You made 100 episodes. That is super fantastic. I know how that feels. I just crossed 100 myself on Fresh Air at 5 about a couple weeks ago. And it's exciting to see that, with regular work, we can do things that turn out to be grand. That's the whole point of what episode 100 is about. You're talking about momentum, to how to maintain the momentum for your mindset. And you talked about simple discipline things. I believe that momentum is about discipline. It's about doing the things on a regular basis that, as opposed to the things that are motivational. The motivation is like sparks and mountaintop experiences, going to a conference, being inspired, listening to a keynote speaker. We can't do those things every day, except if you listen to podcasts like yours. We can do those things. But even then, we have to have the regular discipline to maintain our motivation, because our motivation will fade. Okay, it's not that. It's the momentum that we need to keep going. So I like how you put that word momentum, because, I talk about discipline and doing the things on the regular and every day, like going for my morning walk. But we can translate that into Newton's laws of motion, where, an object in motion will stay in motion. And we have to, keep moving forward and doing the little things to maintain that motion. There is friction that works. Okay, I'm getting into physics, but congratulations, Lindsay. People, take a listen to this episode. She talks about 5 ways of getting going your momentum for your mindset. Peace out. Happy day. Bye-bye. The last thing for December 29, 2022, nearing home I am. Cornbread's coming out of the oven, and my wife's going to make me some breakfast. I'm looking forward to that. A little cornbread with jam, eggs probably. Okay, that's looking too far into the future. The right now here is, I listened to season 4, episode 8 of Ready, Set, Growth podcast for teachers with Nick Moskaluk. I apologize, Nick, if I said your name wrong. But yes, go check out Ready, Set, Growth, episode 8 of season 4, as he talks student engagement with Heather Lyon, who wrote the book, Engagement is Not a Unicorn, It's a Narwhal, and talking about how we have these mythical ideas about student engagement, but we need to bring them back to reality. Like the narwhal is the unicorn of the sea, but it's actually a living creature as opposed to a mythical and ideal thing that we all want, or something like that. I don't want a unicorn, but that's me. Okay, so as I'm listening to this podcast, my goodness, I was so inspired. I was caught by reflecting on how I was asked to go and do a full day workshop on student engagement with teachers in Ontario. And I went out there with my ideas about, we could use all these cool tools to build engagement. We can do all these things. But as I'm hearing Heather and Nick talk, it's not about the tools and things like that. It's about getting students from a place of non-compliance to compliance to interest to absorption. And I like the idea of flow that Daniel Pink talks about in his book, as well as Nihai, I can't remember his last name, but the philosopher that wrote that bit about flow and about absorption. So very good, so true. Myself, as I'm on spring break, or winter break right now, not spring break, wish it was spring break. I'm so absorbed with learning new things about my Cricut Maker and about podcasting. All right, that's all I got. Go take a listen to this. Thanks, Nick. Thank you, Heather. Have a fabulous day. Peace out. Bye. Hey, PLN, it is Friday, December 30, 2022, and this episode 103 started with me outside my house in the snow, shoveling the driveway from plate ice and freezing rain. And while it's going to end now with me up at the Coquihalla Summit on snowshoes and snowshoeing with my wife and friends. And as I'm walking along here, I'm thinking about how, it's the end of 2022, the end of the year, as we've gone through a lot of things this past year. This past year, at the beginning of it, we were still in COVID protocols at school and all those manners of things. We were in also episode 50s in that area, and that was awesome to accomplish that. And what else has happened? Gone snowshoeing a whole bunch. If you want to see some of our snowshoeing videos, you can head over to YouTube and look up Brian Carpenter, and I've got my outdoor adventures playlist there that you can take a look at. You know what? I'll put that playlist link in the show notes, so if you want to go see that, you can go find that there. All right, this is hard work in snow. It's snowing like crazy. So beautiful up here. Absolutely spectacular. Coming up for 2023, I just wanted to let you know that I'm going to keep on recording. Episode 104 will come out next weekend. And a week after that, I've been asked to be a guest on a podcast. So I'll share that with you once that airs and launches. So I enjoy recording with guests or with people to be their guests, and that was fantastic. Lainey Rowell last week, and I sat down to have a conversation. She tells me that'll come out in February. So thanks, Lainey, so much for having me as a guest on Evolve with Gratitude. All right, no podcast listening today. Out enjoying the weather, enjoying the snow, and man, it's just spectacular out here in the mountains. All right, get outside. Go do something fun for yourself. I am. Peace out. Happy New Year to you. That's it. Bye.
As my one word for 2021 is appreciate, I appreciate you giving me a listen as I've created this podcast experience for you. It's a unique Blinkist or Coles Notes version of the content I take in, like a highlight reel, so that you can hopefully find other interesting podcasts you may not have considered before. I've recorded the specific podcast episodes in the show notes for your learning convenience. Please subscribe so you don't miss any of my upcoming episodes. And if you enjoy this podcast and its format, share it with someone else. Tweet about your experience or give it a review on Apple Podcast or wherever you listen to podcasts. Fresh Air at 5 can also be found on Voice Ed Radio. Your voice is right here, and on the Education Podcast Network, Podcasts for Educators, Podcasts by Educators. I hope you have a fantastic day and get some fresh air before the day is out, and take care of yourself because you're worth it.